Hello and welcome to the Impact Dynamics podcast.
I'm Andy Little.
I am Rusty.
We talk about rifles, PRS and beer and how to explode bullets.
And tonight we're talking about three things. PRS. Match director, mate. Match director. Hello, Andy.
Hooray!
Hooray. Let's hope that's enough.
We need your vote.
Now we've caught up to where we are on the podcast.
All right, go on back.
Roll the outro. Hello, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
Good. We have an audience tonight. This is a bit weird.
Yeah, I know, it's different.
I know. It's going on. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. Those who are in the live, in the chat and all that sort of gear. Remy, you've come back. We didn't scare you off so much. Oh, he's busy pressing buttons. Okay, well, this is a bit different for you. We're actually live tonight.
We are.
And you've just smashed your camera around.
I have.
It's wobbling all over the place. Good. Plushie has joined us for some reason as well.
From afar.
From afar. He's the best place to keep him. He's over on the porn couch. I don't know what he's doing over there, but I can't, whatever. He's there for special comments, maybe interjections, abuse.
Yeah. We'll go with abuse. Sorry.
I think you are right. And we also have our beer sponsor represented here, which is Ness behind us. Ness, How are you doing? I can't even turn around to see you. But what are you drinking, Andy? Show.
Yeah, I've got the which one's this one? Magic Spiced Porter. It's actually gone down really well. I like it.
Very good. We lost a light here somewhere, but we'll try and get it back in a moment. That would be good. Hey, exciting things. We just had a PRS weekend. First one in 12 months.
Yeah, Monarto Meltdown.
Yeah, the Ignition Custom Monarto Meltdown. Andy?
Yeah. Thank you to them.
That's exactly right. They made it all happen. How rad was that? So you predicted you'd come fifth. Let's get it out of the way. Rip the Band-Aid off. How'd you go?
Sixth.
It's not fifth.
Well, we can only do what we can.
I have to say though, knowing a little bit more about your story, I'm actually amazed you came sixth.
Me too.
Like phenomenally amazed.
I don't know what happened. I guess some people just fell.
That was a nice stare over there in Plushie's direction, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. So look, general wrap up. First PRS match in a while. Travis Harris was director.
Yep.
And overall, the general feedback that I've seen has been pretty good. It's good to be back shooting.
Definitely.
Always lessons learned and things to be tweaked and done, but that's half of the course as we improve. Yeah.
No, that's it. I think everyone was sort of in that stage of, all right, first match, the nerves, all the excitement, getting back into it, trying to like warm up and, figure out, where did I leave this 2 years ago? Have I gotten any better or have I just gone downhill? And I think a lot of people were feeling that first day sort of pressure and jitters. But yeah, we all sort of bounced back a bit.
Got into it. Yeah. Okay. Very good. So there was lots that happened. It was an eventful PRS match, let's say that. And so how do we navigate through it? We don't want to do a stage by stage breakdown, but
we start on the Friday.
We did start on the Friday. Yeah. It was practice day.
Practice day.
It was practice day for you guys. It was practice day for us guys actually. We'll get into that in a second. Andy, what did you do on Friday?
Friday I rocked up. My plan was to pretty well just confirm data to 500 and then recheck 0. And that was it.
Okay.
But it got complicated.
What happened?
Well, so shooting at 500, that was fine. Like I was smashing that still pretty well. The wind, I think we pretty well had most of it.
I fixed the light.
Oh, well done.
I might have broken it more, but it's on. Anyway.
Hey, you're almost a Sparky.
Don't degrade me like that.
Oh, okay. So,
not when there's a plumber in the room. They earn the big bucks.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
So
trade battle one. I can't do either or anything.
So right. I'm pretty sure we had a pretty solid headwind. It might have been a little bit switchy left to right.
We did have a big headwind, didn't we?
Yeah. But for the most part, I was hitting 500 pretty well.
Okay.
Hit 385 pretty well. And I was like, all right, sweet. I'll just go to 100. I won't change my 0. I might just change my tuner a little bit just to try and bring those groups in a touch. And that's where it all started to go downhill. Normally, my rifle, I'm pretty happy with a half minute, maybe a touch over.
Yep.
This just seemed to be like 1.5. MOA, maybe 2. I was hitting left, high, right, low, and I was just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, tried adjusting the tuner, tried doing all of that. Nothing was fixing it.
Yeah, right.
And it was sort of at that point where I'd have 2 rounds hit right and reasonably close together. And then my 3rd and 4th round would be like left and then high. And it's just like, what? What is going on? Anyway, I spoke to a few guys and they said, don't change your zero. And I knew this in the back of my head.
You did. Don't change your zero.
Don't change your zero the day before
anything.
a match. If you're hitting at 500 consistently, you're good. Just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. But the more I shot it at 100, the more I decided I need to change my zero. So I did that. 2 mils, 0.2 up, 0.2 left.
Yep.
And that's where it sat. And I just left the zero range with just enough ammo for the match, and I left there feeling like, no confidence. Like I was just like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. This is odd, and that's sort of how I entered Saturday. Friday night, I gave the barrel a good clean out, which is another thing you shouldn't do before a match.
Oh no, Plushie's shaking his head. Even Ness doesn't know a whole lot about guns and she's shaking her head.
Yeah, don't change your zero and don't clean your rifle the night before. So I did both of those things.
This 6th is starting to look amazing.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Phenomenal. Very good. So you were Saturday morning. How did you feel when you woke up? Could you sleep Friday night after ruining your gun so badly?
Yeah, slept. Pretty average. I think it's that. That's sort of like
you're on the range. You camped on the range.
Yes. Yeah. In the swag, and it's sort of that. Yeah, went to sleep thinking, I wonder if it's this. Wonder if it's that. Checked all my action screws. Checked the brake was tight. The scope rings were all tight. Did all of those sorts of checks. That's all solid. I'm just running through my head. What else could it be? I think Rusty cleaned my rifle last time.
That's the problem. Yeah. There it is. That's the problem.
That was, and that was
found it.
And how long ago was that? Like 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago?
Doesn't matter. It could have been 14 years ago. It still would have been the problem.
Yeah. We'll go with that. So,
and that just played out like that. Good. Excellent. Yeah. On to the next one.
The other thing that came across my mind was the previous half-day club match we did. I also shot really poorly.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's on you though.
Yeah. Well, now I was sort of thinking, I wonder if the rifle was on its way out then. And mind you,
you did come up to me saying the rifle was on its way out.
And like, to be fair, it's had like good, by that point, 1,100 rounds through it. It's been cleaned maybe 3 times.
I would have thought you'd get a bit more life out of it than that.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'll squeeze it
out. That just gave away the ending. All right. Anyway, sorry, carry on. So Saturday morning rolls around.
around.
We do the brief. Fred Trubby's large and in charge, and
that's it.
Telling what's going on.
Yep. Sort of got into it the first few stages. I was just really rushing stages, pulling bad shots, second guessing not every shot, but most shots that I make. Like just thinking, why did I squeeze that trigger? I wasn't stable. I wasn't on target. Rushing through stages. Like it's sort of when you're in a squad and you see a lot of guys on a stage under the pump and timing out, and you think to yourself, well, gee, this is a tight stage. I need to hustle. And then I run down and I keep forgetting to press start on my timer watch.
Yeah, that's right. You told me that.
I think there was one stage I pressed start and it was like the skill stage, so it didn't really matter anyway. I was like, what am I doing? But yeah, that one stage where everyone's timing out or struggling with, and I smash through it really quickly, pull a couple of shots, and then I finish and the RO goes, you had 20 seconds left. Like, damn it.
Oh, yeah. When the range life replicates the home life. Yeah.
So I guess like Saturday was just getting those nerves out, trying to figure out what a 90-second stage feels like again under pressure. Just ironing out the bugs. But there were quite a few shots where I'd second guess my data, second guess my zero. Some shots I'd shoot, and some shots I would take.
Some shots you wouldn't. Okay. Yep.
And I'd get no feedback. I'd get no splash. RO wouldn't call anything, or the spotter wouldn't call anything.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay.
That's because you missed. Yeah.
Well, I just assumed I missed. I was like, okay, whatever. I'd send another round at that target or the next target, depending.
Okay.
But there were a few of those. Maybe on the Saturday there were about 4 or 5 of them I remember.
where you're like, this was on, but I got nothing at all.
I was on target, felt good, didn't see a miss, like didn't see dust, didn't see, any sort of miss or splash.
Yep.
Didn't see a splash on target, but I just assumed I'd hit, so I'd moved on, and then I didn't hear any call. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's really weird. Okay, go back, re-engage, or move on. But it was just that playing on my mind.
I remember seeing you do that, because normally normally if you've hit it, you move on, and so you sort of start going, hang on, these guys calling my shots. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, yep.
But they were.
Yeah, they were calling my shots that hit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
I don't think I've ever seen you sort of really second guess an RO.
No,
but you were really questioning, not questioning them as spotters or anything.
No, but just
you were just like, this is like, are they seeing my shots? Like, I thought I got this and I thought I got that. Like, and I've not seen you. Normally, you're very much like, all right, that's what it is, and not even a question. Yeah, and I mean, you're very polite when doing so, but much more polite than Blush is.
Because sometimes.
And, I'm only saying it because he hasn't got a microphone to get back at me at this stage. So there'll be angry posts on Facebook later where he's got a lot of balls of gym behind him.
He's just going to mad comments on the live chat.
I'm not looking at those ones, especially his. All right. Anyway, sorry. Carry on. Where were we up to? You were being very polite about not hitting your targets.
Yeah, I mean, they're the spotters are good spotters, and usually if I miss, I definitely know I miss and I can see the splash, but sometimes I'd send a shot, not see splash, but not see an impact. So I'd sort of assume that I impact, but okay, maybe I didn't, whatever.
Yeah.
So that Saturday, it just sort of, it was very plateau, I guess.
Yeah.
There was no good stages and bad stages. It was just average. And I've got my scores in.
Oh, okay. Here we go. We're going to look at your scores.
Flick to the back there. It's very average.
3 out of 8, 9 out of 12, 5 out of 8, 6 out of 10, 8 out of 8. Pretty average.
Skill stage.
4 out of 10, 11 out of 12, 6 out of 8, 7 out of 15. Now, I guess what this doesn't show us is what the averages were and how other people were doing.
True.
Plus, do you remember any particular scores you got of day one? Is there anything that leaps to mind where you're like, I got this on this stage, just so we've got some level of comparison. Farmgate was out of 10. Andy got 4 and you got a 6 or 7. Okay, so you clean skills, that was cleaned by Andy as well. What did you get on the paper trail? Do you remember what you got on that? That was a paper. A very lucky 9. Oh. Okay, so there was a few here where, we're starting to see that maybe you're a little bit down on what you would expect there, Andy. Okay.
Yeah. I think I worked it out. I think I hit, is it written on there at all?
68%? That was overall. Day one, you hit 59 out of 91 possible.
So I think I was sitting at about 60%, impacts. And I'm just like, that's not good. I should be sitting up around the 70 at least.
Okay.
I feel for myself.
Yep.
Going back to that paper stage.
Paper trail. Yeah. Do you want to? This is a unique stage, so let's run through this one. We can always look through a couple of stages.
So this was a
paper trail. Here we go.
Piece of paper, 200 meters, and it was a forward moving line. Now,
so here we go. Shooter will be wearing the allocated backpack and will have their spare magazine equipment inside the backpack. On the start signal, the shooter will move through the below advancing firing line positions and engage each of 3 targets at 200 meters with 1 round each. So for those who are unfamiliar, this is where the firing line rolls with the shooter. So as you're the only person on that range, or you're the only shooter on that range, there's an RO with you, and you can move down the range, and that's like a rolling firing line. So some ranges are able to do this, some are not able to do this, but you become the firing line. So wherever you are, that's the firing line. So that's therefore there's no other guns on that particular range. There's no other people shooting on that range.
I'm pretty sure we run it so you can't move back. Once you start to move forwards, you cannot move back.
That is a really common way of running. It's running these stages, because then obviously if you start moving back at all, you may put the range officer or anyone following, a camera person or anyone following you offside is what I want to say, but you could actually be breaching the firing line. So you generally will always move forward, never back.
Yep.
So and then there were 5 positions. Do you remember them, Andy? 5 positions with help from Plushy. Do you remember what they are?
So there was prone from a bipod and a rear bag.
Yep.
At 200 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about 175, it was prone shooting over a backpack.
Yep.
150 meters was kneeling supported.
Mm-hmm.
125 was it kneeling unsupported?
Not quite. The 150 was sitting supported.
Sitting
125 was kneeling unsupported.
Yep. And then I think there was a standing shot at
100 meters.
Yeah.
Yep. Standing supported.
So it's good variation. Yeah, good variety. Yeah, it was a fun stage.
Okay.
And like I don't think I got my last shot off at the 100 meters. So I did time out. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Plus, did you get your shot off? You had 45 seconds left. As I said, range life, replicating home life. I'm getting some death stares from that corner. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
So, well, just going.
Oh, sorry, back on to that. The whole reason we brought that.
This was a target paper target stage at 200 meters, and at each one of those positions, so you're prone, unsupported, like you're kneeling, sitting, that sort of those positions, you were shooting at 3 paper targets, and it was 3 shots from each position. Now, those at this time, I'm thinking, I don't know what my data's doing. My rifle's shooting off, blah, blah, blah. So the first 2 positions are essentially prone, good, stable positions.
Yep.
And I was like, right, so I should have 6 solid impacts on this target, like 200 meters and 175 meters. Like I'm
comfortable.
I'm dialing 0.3. It's like, just hold on it. Anyway.
And just that these were 100 mil targets, so
100 mil
they're relatively comfortable to get.
Yep. Now, at the end of the stage, when the target came back, there were only 4 impacts on 4 like good impacts, like relatively centered, that would have been my prone shots. So 2 of my prone shots didn't even hit the paper.
Well, you crap then.
I know. It's just no. So
right.
there were 2.
So, plus, is that why you're here? You're going to take over as podcast host? is that where this is heading? And he's announcing his retirement from shooting.
That's it.
Okay. So, all right. So that must have given you a clue that something was up.
Something was off. So I was expecting 2, 4, 6 shots really close to one another, you know, good prone, stable shots. And I took my time taking them. And all I could see was 4 of them next to one another. And I was like, okay, so the 3rd shot from each position just didn't even hit the paper.
Wow. Yep.
And then from there, I think that was closer to the end of the day, and I was like, okay, whatever, put that aside. Went back to the main range and kept failing there. So Saturday night, when we went through all the positions and how people were shooting, and we had a fantastic feed. My gosh, the food is amazing.
Always Monarto Meltdown. Thanks. Saturday night food is always a big barbecue, and it is solid. It has been back-to-back matches, been always amazing. We had 52 kilos of meat that night.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was
chicken wings, all sorts.
They worked out the first match. They catered for what would be like a normal wedding.
Yep.
And they very quickly realised that was not enough for dominant male being out standing on their feet for 10, 11 hours, running around, doing all that sort of gear. So this year they basically said, look, we've catered for 112 people.
Oh, wow.
And there was like 50 something in the room.
Yeah, I don't think there was much left over either.
First time there's been food left over.
Yeah, well, not much though.
Not much. It got cleaned up the next day very quickly. Yeah. So anyway.
So Saturday night I went through all the placings.
Yep.
And I was like, I'd be lucky if I'm top 20. Like I've just had a really average day and not sure what's happening with the rifle, blah, blah, blah. And I think I ended up 14th. I think I was tying 14th with 3 other people or 2 other people.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, there's a fair number of people above me. Tomorrow just is what it is. I'll just do what I can and have fun.
Yep. Enjoy yourself. Yeah.
That's it. I was thinking, oh man, I can't claw my way back up to, I was thinking top 10's out of the question because that, around that 15th or top 20 to top 10, it's quite a tight field. So I was like,
it was pretty tight, wasn't it, on points? Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to struggle. If I keep shooting the way I'm not going to reach top 10 at all.
Yep.
And then going into Sunday, first couple of stages up, some of the boys were spotting.
So let's just wind it back for a second.
Yeah.
So let's mix a couple of storylines in here because that's what like movies do and things like that. So
Cut.
Saturday morning, I woke up about 5 o'clock because you wake up and you're like, oh, I've got to go inside to go piss or something like that. So I woke up. We'd had one or two beverages the evening before, just to clarify. So I got up 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh great, I'll be able to come back and go sleep for a couple of hours. We're good. I didn't have to do anything till about 8 o'clock. So went inside, and then on my way back out, I heard this groan. And I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't sound good. And then I heard my name called in a groaning tone, and I was getting concerned, like, Andy, what are you dreaming? And turns out it wasn't you. Turns out it was Travi.
Good, because I don't remember that.
And, are you saying you'd want to remember that? Anyway, turns out it was Travi, who was match director, who was not well at all. Had some sort of bout of gastro or something along those lines. And he was in poor shape, and he'd been throwing up all night, and he was throwing up in front of me. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm not going back to sleep. I guess, default end up being match director. So I had to do that, and then look, massive credit to Travi. The match was so well planned out that I sort of stepped into the role. And the ROs knew what they were doing. We took it probably a little bit longer to get up and running than we'd planned, maybe an extra 10 minutes.
Yep.
But in the scheme of things, that's pretty good. And then it rolled out from there. And he'd done a really good job of writing it in a way that someone could come in overnight and do that. But we had planned to do lives, and we were doing live streams. Remy was there. And we were doing live streams, weren't we, Remy, all weekend? And we were meant to do some more that morning, but, I was running around making sure everything was moving okay, so you guys had to wait for me.
That's right. Turned out well with what we've got.
Turned out all right. And then Travi was feeling a little bit better, so he came back to the line, sort of took over, and then we went back onto the live streams. We'll get to Remy's thoughts on the match shortly, but for his first one to go and see. But we and then Travi he went downhill again, so we sent him home. He was not looking good, and I ended up having to do presentations, which I was not prepared for, but we got through there.
We got
got everyone up and dancing. Anyway, we've jumped forward. So my Saturday morning has seen me
occupied.
Had to take over things with the match directing side of things, and then back to you, Andy. How was your Sunday morning? So, did I say Saturday morning? Sunday morning.
Sunday morning now.
Sunday morning. The relaxing morning, technically.
It started well.
Really?
I think because we all had
an shooting still?
Extra hour's sleep.
Oh, we did. That's right. That's one thing I can't complain too much about.
So I think when I'd set my alarm, I was like expecting like 6 hours, 7 hours. And then it was like 8.5 hours. I was like, sweet, winning.
Nice.
Like, fantastic. I'm lucky to get this on a weeknight. So we got up, got a coffee, got breakfast at the what's it called? The van.
Eat me
later. Right. And they had some good breakfast and nibbles and bits and pieces there. Yep. Coffee was good.
How was the coffee? It
was good.
It was all right.
Yeah. I had it long blacks. I was,
smart man.
Stepping up my coffee game from being here. So.
So we do ruin a lot of people's taste.
Coffee, beer, and gin.
Coffee, beer, and gin.
That's it.
Not bad. Anyway, carry on.
So
you had your coffee.
First two stages.
Yep. Which two did you start on?
The kayak log one. Can't remember the name of that. Shipwrecked.
Yep. And then modern metallic silhouette.
Yeah. Now we had the option of starting on a prone stage at 10 targets, so 385, or a stage with multiple positions and obstacles and target engagements at different distances. Mm-hmm. And of course, the ROs wanted to start the day with the more challenging one.
Smart.
Thank you.
Smart. Yep, good ROs. Get them back. Yeah.
So, no, it was all good.
And
that
you
was
scored
a fun stage.
6 out of 8 and 8 out of 10 for those two. So not bad.
And that was a good start to the day. I was like, all right, sweet.
All right.
Now that first stage, one of the guys behind me was spotting on the binos, and they said, there was something weird. One of those shots, they didn't see any dust, any impact on target, but they saw a couple of.
That's what you'd been saying.
Yeah, a couple of like almost bits hitting the dirt. Maybe like, I think the target was at 385, and they said I hit the dirt maybe at about 200 meters.
Wow.
Or 100 meters.
Is that bad a shooter?
And they were like, you aiming for the right target? I was like, yes. And they're like, well, we didn't see anything. Okay, well, that's weird. So it was at that time I was like, right, well, something's obviously
going on.
off here. I grabbed, and I was meant to send you the footage. I grabbed my phone and I had a mount to the binoculars.
Yep.
And I recorded the next stage because the next stage was 10 shots prone at pigs and chickens.
Yep.
And sure enough, I think it was on my 8th shot, bang, nothing but a couple of bits.
Sounds like an English pub, the Pig and Chicken.
The Pig and Chicken.
Be good English pub. Anyway, sorry. This is where my mind goes.
No dirt splash, no target impact. There's just a couple of bits of dirt that got kicked up and hit, halfway down range.
Wow.
And the guys were like, dude, your bullets are exploding mid-flight or something weird is happening.
Something is going on.
It's disappearing.
Wow.
So, that was just like this is great. To be honest.
How good is this?
This is awesome.
So good. Yeah. Okay.
So at that point I was like, right, well, at least now I sort of know what's happening. If I take a shot, I don't see any splash, I don't get any call. At least now I know what's happening.
It's not yours.
It's not.
So your bullets are not surviving down to the, as far as you can tell?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Okay. Not just that bad a reloader?
No, come on.
Okay, all right, no worries. Just asking the question.
No, Nick did do that testing of concentricity and seating depth.
Let's talk about that because Ignition Custom were the sponsors, and so Nick opted not to shoot the first match.
Yes.
First PRS match, he's not shot. He still attended, but he's not shot. And one of the things he was doing by not shooting it, he was wandering around inspecting people's ammo who were happy for him to inspect it. And he was putting them on a concentricity gauge.
Yep.
Did you do anything else as well?
On the iDrive and seating depth.
And seating depth.
Yep.
And he was measuring this out to see who was making the most accurate ammo. How did your ammo rate?
I think it was 1.5 thou on the seating depth, and I think it was 3 thou on concentricity.
Okay.
So
interesting.
He said that wasn't terrible. That was about average.
Okay.
And considering how quickly I just slap them together, I was pretty happy with that, to be honest. I've never said I'm a good reloader.
Yeah, that's you're correct. You never have said that. So I think that footage for those who are interested is going to be up on the Ignition channel, Ignition Custom channels somewhere.
Yep.
As they look through all the various ammo, and they get a prize to it later on. So, but we'll get back to that. Okay, so you suspected that your ammo was still pretty good. I mean, that measurement won't tell you if there's enough powder in there or not.
No, but if you're getting that,
tell me I'm wrong, Plushy. Or if he's running completely the wrong powder, or I'm good at working out whether there's no primers in the case. I've proven that.
I've seen that video a few times. So I'm like, just make sure you keep putting primers in.
Push your primers. It was a lesson for all. It was a public service announcement.
That's right.
Anyway.
So at that point I was like, right, well now I can stop second guessing certain aspects of my zeros off or this or that. If I miss a shot, it's on me.
It's probably you.
And if I take a shot and I don't see anything, now I know what's happening. So it took out a lot of that second guessing.
Locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And so it sort of like settled my mind. I was like, okay, well, that's what it is. That's what's happening. I'll just run the rest of the day, run the stages. I got to get rid of the ammo anyway. So I think with that mentality shift of let's just have fun, relax a bit and just shoot the stages and think of it as a training day almost.
Yeah.
I feel like I relaxed a bit more and just by relaxing a bit more focused more and did better.
Yeah. You ended up with 50 out of 68 on the second day,
which is a much better
percentage because you only got 59 out of 91 the day before. So
that's it.
Yeah, and that's how you ended up with your 6th. Were you surprised when your name was read out for 6th?
Very. I thought once I'd like gone through and added up my scores, I'd be like, maybe a 10-ish, just out of top 10.
Just out of top 10.
But then, I was sort of a bit gobsmacked by that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Very good, mate. Very good. So what lessons do you take away from this match that you're going to, are you shooting Mildura?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So what lessons do you take from this to do differently apart from work out what's going on with your projectiles?
Yeah. Or my cleaning or muzzle brake or who knows what it is.
All of these things, dreams about me, whatever they are.
I think for myself, that sort of taught me that if I there's two sort of mentalities. Some people can push themselves and put themselves under pressure to perform and do well at it.
Yep.
And I think for myself, if I kick back and go, just have fun, just
let it roll.
relax, it is what it is, then I think that's somehow I can do better.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know what happens there, but it's sort of proved itself.
All right. Hey, Remy.
Yes.
You came down to your first shooting match of any type, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
first one.
that happened to be the PRS. Did you like it? Was it interesting?
Yeah, so it was a good experience. After editing like lots of
Hours
footage.
and hours and hours of footage from matches.
Yeah, from the Monarto range. It was actually great to go see it in person.
Yep.
And see an event that was like that big as well. So that was a pretty cool experience. And yeah, to see all the rifles up, close and personal. They sound different in person, obviously. Like you can like feel it in your body.
A lot different. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's some footage that's going to come out, and every time the shot went off, the camera would shake
Because you were jumping.
I was jumping. I'm sure you get used to that after a bit of time, but yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So we were there. Remy, myself, Sam, and Josh were there to do some live streams.
Yeah.
And it was a bit more of an experiment for us than it was, like we didn't tell anyone until sort of the day that we were going to be doing it in terms of the viewers. But we had some pretty good feedback on it. We were able to have multiple cameras. We had interviews with people before they shot, not while they were shooting. That would have been distracting. And then after they shot. And that was interesting. We got some really fascinating sort of perspectives on stuff. We talked to you a couple of times and we were able to give – I think one of the things, we've done live streams before where it's been me on my phone wandering around just to provide a little bit, and people
a little bit of context and
seemingly enjoyed that. But one of the things that I was able to do this time, because I've always been mindful that if I'm standing there close enough to use my phone to film someone and I'm talking about the stage, there's a potential there where Andy's forgotten that he's got to move to the left after he's taking his shot. And I'm sitting there trying to commentate for the live audience saying, Andy's going to be moving to the left after this and taking 3 shots.
Yeah. And then
Andy's like, sweet, cheers. And
3 shots left.
that actually falls under the coaching rule. Yeah. So that would be problematic. And so this allowed me to sort of sit back in the media tent. We had a media tent.
That was pretty cool.
How cool was that? We sat back in the tent and I was actually able to commentate on what I was seeing and provide some more context for those at home who were, not able to be at the match and to actually what the shooter was doing, because often, you sort of watch the stream and people are like, hey, what's meant to be happening? What's he doing?
What target are they shooting?
Yeah, did he hit the target? All that sort of thing. And so you actually could sort of talk people through. Now I've never done commentating in my life, as you can probably tell if you watch it, but I think it's, important to have a little bit more. And so it's something that we will probably be able to do again. Obviously, Monarto was the easy one because it's only an hour from the office here. But we'll try and do some future matches with that sort of thing and be able to provide some more interesting context.
I think it was great. I mean, I've looked back a few of those videos and listening to people before a stage and then after a stage and how they sort of
disappointment on their face,
how their sort of like game plan sort of worked or didn't work, and then as the stage is running out and you're watching them and then having yourself sort of talk about the stage and maybe why they're doing things a certain way. Yeah, for someone who hasn't read the matchbook or can't read the matchbook or know what's really going on, that's great. Yeah,
cool. So we tried that. Remy, you enjoyed that element of it, the technical side of stuff?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Any particular challenges you found being out on the range?
Oh, there's too many.
There's too many.
The noise.
Yeah.
The noise.
I don't know. Yeah. We ran into a few problems. But
knowing where to stand.
No, that wasn't actually a problem.
Josh took you through that?
Yourself and Josh kind of showed me the way. I think one point Andy tapped me on the shoulder and told me a good position to get into. I don't know if I looked like too nervous to get into that position. That sounds a bit wrong.
Wow, I mean? Did it involve a couch? Or?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, wow. Was this at the range or was this earlier tonight?
Definitely at the range.
Okay. just checking.
In the club rooms.
Okay. Oh, no. All right, very, very good. And is it from a spectator's point of view? Yeah, we were trying to sort of put together some videos that were interesting and stuff. Did you find it interesting to film, to watch?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. yeah, I guess after editing like lots of that footage, it was nice to be there and film it. Especially like we all have different styles of filming, so filming it in like my particular style was fun. Yeah, making guns look cool. I mean, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
The guns look pretty wicked.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Thank
overall.
you.
Yeah, man.
Very true. Oh, I'm surprised it's not just Plushy flexing in this room. That's good. Well, I took some lessons away as well from the match, as we always do from all the matches. And one of the things that I'm going to do, so often, like in this instance, Travis sent me the match book a couple of weeks before just to sort of go back and through, and I provide something. He sent it to Butters as well. Butters, is able to sort of provide some more shooter context to it. But I often will read through and I read it through, write a couple of notes on it, and then I forget what's going on. I can't keep that much in my head. And so, get to the match and I don't know any of the stages. Pointless asking me.
That was a month ago.
That's right. But what I probably will do, given how it played out, is I probably will make myself familiar with the match book again on the Friday and sort of go through it and bring myself up to speed, sort of at the point where the shooters get it and just in case the same thing happened. Because one of the things that I struggled with, sort of taking over a half a match at the last minute, was clearly understanding the intent of the stage. So there's a particular stage where the match book or the brief on that particular stage was a little ambiguous. It left a couple of things open, and I can understand why, because the match book might get finalised and printed a week out. And then you get there and you set up the stage, and then there's like off 3 positions, and you've got like the barricade, but the barricade's got 8 positions. Which 3 do we mean? And so, I think that perhaps a couple of decisions I made on that stage may have lost the essence of it, because I didn't know the stage as in depth as well. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't planning to take anything, change anything. Sure. But now, having been there, and it's not like we've had however many matches we've had here, and we've never been in that position, but we have been now. And I guess with COVID this year, it's probably more likely to have to happen. We were, I think, Plushy, you were almost on standby for if something happened to Travi in the lead up to it in terms of going into COVID isolation or something like that. Then Plushy was going to put on the match director hat, get given the match book, and go, right, here's the match. Go and run it. And
you've been in a similar situation as well. There was a match interstate a few years back.
Oh, a little bit different. There was no match to take over. Nothing was planned. So this one was actually planned.
Right.
I had to do that one from scratch. Right. This one was sort of underway. So there was one stage that I think I made some calls on, because there was a bit of ambiguity. I did not want to bother Travi. He was asleep and needed the rest. And made the call. We were a little bit under time pressure. Made the calls. Made calls, and the match ran and the stages were fine. But I do think that if I understood those stages better and spent a bit more time, and perhaps quizzed Travi prior to get a feel for it, then I could have made better decisions on those stages. So I think that was probably only one stage that really affected. And I don't think, people, what did you score on it?
I don't know what stage it is.
It was Get Off My Porch. You scored an 8 out of 10. Still ran, where you're sitting on the, on this the outdoor couch thingy.
Like a deck chair
thing, and then you jump off that and go and shoot off a barricade.
I found that good. I didn't realise anything had sort of changed.
That's the thing, is I don't think it was a bad stage. But I don't necessarily I think there was a couple of things that could have been done a little bit better to keep truer to the intent of what would have been. And so, I don't think we ruined it, but I think we didn't make it as good as it could have been, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the stages and stuff as interesting as they could be. So, anyway, so I learned a couple of things, and prepping your range officers or your stage officers prior. Travi did a really good job of that because the guys knew which stages they were on. They were already assigned to stuff. They sort of had a bit of an idea of what the brief was.
Yeah, okay.
So that helped immensely. Which
all
was
that sort of pre-work, and then people can self-manage.
And then, thankfully, Saturday night he worked his ass off until all the targets were up. Everything was in position, all was done. So it was very much a walk in and be like, all right, I haven't got a lot to set. A couple of things set up, but nothing major. And we were probably 10 minutes behind where we were meant to be shooting. So if that, so we got there. We got there in the end, and I think overall.
It went well.
Yeah. There's always lessons to learn. There's always things to improve on, particularly given that we effectively haven't run a season since 2019.
Yeah.
I know Travis run one other match, but you run one match and then nothing else happens, you get a bit disheartened.
Yeah. I did well in that match.
You did well in that match?
The last Monarto Meltdown.
Didn't matter.
Yeah, didn't matter.
Where did you finish?
Fourth.
So you finished the 2021 season 4th overall.
Sweet.
Well done. Congratulations. No one cares. Oh, that's the way. So look, that was the PRS match.
Yeah.
It happened. It was good. The next one's Mildura.
It happened.
Tell me it didn't happen. Okay, good.
No comment.
So it did happen. It was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Enjoyed what we did with the video side of things. It was something a little bit different, and it was really good to see a whole stack of crew who came down. The Queenslanders who drove. There was quite a few Queenslanders, which was awesome. Who drove forever away. A couple of guys from Perth. Who I'm going to go shoot. I'm going to go shoot a match.
Oh,
fantastic! This is probably should have led with this.
Yeah. Since when?
Since what? I'm going to go shoot a match in Perth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very good.
In a month.
Right. Is this before or after Mildura?
After Mildura.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I won't talk about it now.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna go shoot a match in Perth. They've kicked off some matches over there.
Yes.
I've been looking for a good excuse to get to WA. There's a few people that I want to catch up with, and a couple of businesses I want to go and spend some time with.
Yep.
And they said we've got this match coming up. I've looked at the diary. I'm like, this all lines up. I can make this work. I think I'm gonna have a gun lent to me. I think I'm gonna do terribly. Given that the first time I shot this year was on the Friday for 8 shots in the rimfire shoot. So I'm not expecting big things, but someone's got to come last at the Perth match. So
that's it.
May as well be me.
And then we'll have something to talk about.
Exactly right. But I think just throwing this out there, going to have maybe a night at the pub one night in Perth.
Yeah,
so
nice.
We'll stay tuned for anyone over there. If you, I don't know, want to catch up and drink some beverages. I'll drink gin, but you guys can drink what you like and talk about shooting in the lead up to it. We might do that over there.
Fantastic.
Good to go and see our WA friends. But anyway, a couple of guys from WA made it over, and I think we were nearly represented every state. Maybe Tassie. I'm not sure anyone from Tassie was there.
I didn't see anyone from Tassie.
Or Darwin. Was there anyone from Darwin?
Thought there might have been, but not Butters. He
No,
couldn't make it down,
obviously.
but
Yeah. No, it was a much quieter weekend than Butters came. Yeah, very good. I tell you what, Andy, let's beat you out for a minute or two. Let's get a quick wrap up from Plushy while
Let's
he's
do it.
here. We may as well make the most of him being here.
Yes.
So, quick wrap up from Plushy on the meltdown. See if he's got any stories to add or things he learnt, and then we'll wrap it up on here. Plushy, while you're grabbing a seat, I'm going to have a quick look and going to have a little look if there was any comments that we need to respond to from the live while you get your heads on. All right. Now we go. All right, Plushy, you're on deck.
Hello.
Oh, you got more beers.
Oh, how good's that?
Oh, well, you may as well shout out to our beer sponsor. What have you got there?
I've got a pine and passion sour.
Oh yeah, sweet. That's all
I've
right.
got a crisp ale.
Okay, very nice. Very good. I'll have a. You can top me up with a gin there, mate. If you're
I
going.
thought you were about to steal the sour, and I'm like, no.
No, I'm good. No NT. No one from NT was there. All right, Plushy. While our beverages get poured for us, how good's this?
All right.
How was the meltdown for you?
It was a really good match.
Yeah.
Didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped.
Okay, for you or just the match?
Me.
Okay.
No, the match was really good. No, I had a pretty solid Saturday. Didn't shoot particularly well, but I didn't really mess anything up either. I had a pretty consistent day.
Yep.
I finished up in third on Saturday.
Thank you, Andy, for the beverage.
Yeah. So going into Sunday, I felt I was in a good position.
Third on Saturday. Yeah. Okay. Solid.
Yeah, it was. It was. I can't remember exactly how far. I think it was about 7 points, maybe off the lead, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was happy.
We should have. We didn't even mention who won. Ash.
Yeah, that's right.
Ash, well done, Ash. Smashed it, and he smashed
absolutely
it.
Smashed it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment when you talk about how poorly you did.
And then we started on a couple of challenging stages, and I sort of went, like a little bit of nerves crept in, dropped a few points, but it was not too bad. Mm-hmm. And then I zeroed a stage, and the wheels just fell off.
Oh no! What caused you to zero a stage?
I still don't know.
You missed everything. Okay.
Yeah. I still don't exactly know. I think I was shot the whole stage from multiple positions low. I shot everything. Well, it's hard because that particular target's on a post in the middle of the field. But it looked low from range experience. But it was very miragey, very, very miragey. The target was moving all over the place.
Yeah, okay. That'll make it hard.
Well, I thought the mirage should have moved it up. But it seems like it moved it down, so I'm sort of looking into that at the moment to see if I can understand the science behind it. Yeah.
Yep.
And then that hurt, and then
it still does from the sound of things, still hurting.
The one before, I think I got a 3 out of 8 or something like that, so it wasn't great. And then I spent a whole bunch of time thinking, is my gun not shooting?
Then you start troubleshooting and
barrel done or whatever.
That you're just crap.
Yeah, basically. So looking for any excuse besides me being the reason that I didn't hit any targets. Checked it at 100 meters. It was like 0.3 mil left, but the elevation was good. And I'm like, well, that doesn't explain what I just saw. Velocity was good. Re-zeroed it. Rifle's doing what it was supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And then next stage or 2 stages I cleaned, I think. And then wheels fell off again. Finished with like a 2 and a 4 or something like that.
Oh, no.
I think I got a smidge over half points for the day.
It's not great.
I think about 38 points, I think, for the day. Gave up a lot.
Sounds like it.
So Sunday was a rough day. Rough day for me, but overall I was genuinely surprised actually to finish where I did.
Where did you finish?
8th, I think it was.
8th.
I thought I wouldn't have a hope of being in top 10, but it seems like some other people had a bad day too.
I think a few guys did have a struggle on Sunday.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Was that harder stages or wind was trickier? What do you?
The wind was definitely tricky.
Okay.
It's sometimes when there's not a lot of it. It was coming from a bit of an odd angle too. It was switchy front on.
I've heard that about Andy.
Yeah,
comes from an odd angle.
It was a little bit switchy front on. Sometimes it's easier if it's just coming like 10 miles from the right.
Yes.
It was hard to pick stuff like that. It was a tough match, but it should be a tough match. Like it's a national match, so.
Yeah,
everybody. It was a little bit, kind of bit of luck of the draw sometimes as well. Like
with the wind side of
the
things.
wind, definitely. Like there was a bit of cloud coming over, so there was heavy mirage, and you couldn't see the target properly. And then some clouds would come over, and then the guys would just hold center and send it.
Okay.
And it was like I saw impacts, I got feedback.
Not
it was
much you can do.
No, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a challenge. There was a couple of targets that after 3 or 4 squads have been through. Some people at 500 meters only hit a couple of times. So
yeah, okay.
It was a challenge.
All right. Were you on the stage? I think it was skill stage 3. Were you in the squad? Either of you in the squad? You just pour a drink down. See, the beer from Brew Boys is that good. You just want to pour it on yourself, right, Ness? Yeah,
I was just trying to get rid of the pirate life jumper I've got on.
Way to draw attention to it. All right, very good. There was a stage, I think, one of the opening stages on the Saturday that like 3 or 4 people went through and just struggled with it majorly. Were you on this squad?
This was my squad.
This is your squad. Yeah. Tell me about this, because this is sort of a psychological barrier that people hit sometimes.
What's the near far skills?
Skill stage 3.
3. So the first person that went down, first shooter of the day. There was almost no wind. It was pretty gentle. I reckon he got a 1, maybe. Couldn't find the target.
Yeah, okay.
Got 1 impact, timed out.
Yep.
And then the next shooter went down, got a 0. Didn't hit anything. And
this is a pretty standard stage, isn't it?
It's generally how quick you clean it, not how many impacts you get.
Okay, interesting.
third shooter went down. I think it was Goldie. Might have been. He was second or third shooter. I can't remember. And got down, couldn't find the target, and then literally got up on his knees, picked his rifle up, and was panning the range with his rifle to try and find the targets. And at that point, myself and one of the other club guys were like, "What is going on here? Like we shoot this. There's only one place on the range you can shoot. That particular one because of berms and stuff like that." Mm. And we were lying. So when the shooter moved to the side, about 4 or 5 meters behind the shooting position, we were lying on the dirt with our binoculars, looking for the targets, going, "What is so hard here?" And we're like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then someone else got down. It took about the 5th shooter before somebody cleaned it.
Yeah, wow. And then cleaned it just straight in.
Yeah, straight in. I think he missed a shot or two, but cleaned it. Yeah.
But same.
Yeah, it was odd. It got in people's head. It absolutely got in people's head. They were looking for a problem rather than just shooting the stage.
Yeah, okay. Do you think it's perhaps, without having the data, we'll make wild speculation, which is what we do on this podcast. Speaking of which, we got given a gift relating to our podcast, which we'll cover in a second. Do you think that perhaps people were on too high a magnification at all? And so perhaps in that scenario...
Didn't ask that question. Some people got stuck on the wrong target. Like they didn't...
Yeah, okay.
We're talking to some of the guys... I guess it was... we talked about it before. Some of our targets are on posts in the middle of the field.
They are.
Because they're not on a berm.
We've got a pretty flat range, relatively speaking.
Yeah, relatively squarish and flat. Yep. So you'll look at it through a spotting scope, which could be 5-10 metres off to the side. Yeah. And because those posts are sort of spread throughout the field, you look and you get a sight picture in your mind. And then you go to lie down. And the targets are back to front. So the one that's close is now on the left and the one that's far is now on the right with our back to front. So guys were shooting wrong targets.
Yep. Okay.
All sorts of stuff. Sense. So they didn't get behind. It's one of the things you have to do with field targets that don't have a backstop. You have to get behind the position and identify your target from each shooting position.
Yep.
I think it was that.
Yeah.
No, a couple of them you can't actually see the post. You just see a square target.
Hanging out. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So once someone had done well on it, was that sort of the gates open and people started?
Yeah, people got out of their head. There was still some people still struggled a little bit.
Of course, yeah.
And I know it got down to my turn, and I got down behind it. And
were you nervous shooting it?
Absolutely, because I was like, so many people had made a mess of it. I was like, maybe there's a trick that I'm not seeing.
Yep.
So I got down behind my gun, and I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first one.
Yep.
And then I sent it, and I was sort of fingers crossed, and I looked at the stage officer, and I went, impact, and I'm like, okay,
bullet didn't explode on the way out there. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and then I just was like, okay, so there's nothing wrong, and then just shot the
and then
rest
where you
of
go. Yeah, okay. Well, we did get a present. A gentleman walked up to me at the match, introduced himself, said, "I listen to the podcast, and you guys need one of these." And I think he's probably right. It's a button to add into our hype button, but this is the bullshit. So we're going to leave that on the desk. How many buttons are we going to end up with, Andy? A few. We're going to now we've started. So we now have bullshit. We've got a second button into our collection. So we've got our hype button, and we've got this one. Bullshit.
It's even got an Aussie accent as well. It's great.
It does. Yeah. It's great. So thank you, Rob, for the addition to our collection of buttons. We shall see what other buttons we end up with. And that way we can express our emotions and feelings about the podcast in real time rather than like talking about it.
I smell bullshit.
Joe.
There we go. All right, very good. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching, listening, however you're consuming us. Bit of a shout back to Eat Me, the people that were. Anyway, all right, we're out. Remy, thanks heaps for pressing all the buttons for us tonight.
No worries.
And thanks, Ness, for the beers that the other boys drank. You're much quieter. You should be louder. All right, anyway. Plushy, thanks for joining us, Andy.
Thanks, mate.
Stay over there.
Thanks, Andy.
We'll catch you guys again next time. Cheers.
Bye.